Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to a special video about a very special film. And this is Giuseppe Tornatore's Legend of 1900, or La Leggenda del Pianista sul Oceano, as I butcher Italian. Apologies for any Italians watching. Tornatore is more famous for Cinema Paradiso, but to me this is his best film. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourite films of all time, and it's one of those well overused words. It's a masterpiece. It's just wonderful. But what makes it wonderful is the Ennio Morricone score. For me, Ennio Morricone is the greatest composer of the 20th century, let alone film composer. Obviously he's more famous for his spaghetti westerns, but he's done so many films and also written concertos, and he's just incredible. And for me, he has the Morricone note. He just knows that crescendo of music that gives you goosebumps and gets the hairs in the back of your neck standing up. That to me is the Morricone note. And in this film, it's one of his best scores. It's absolutely beautiful, and it is essentially a character in the film. It's a fantastical journey. It's about a character who is born on an Atlantic crossing liner between London and New York, and he never sets foot on land. It's set in the 20s. It stars Tim Roth and Pruitt Taylor Vince and Bill Nunn. If you're unsure who Pruitt Taylor Vince is, you'll recognise him. He's the guy that has that thing where his eyeballs are always like moving. He's in Mississippi Burning as a redneck. But in this film he really gets a fantastic role. He plays a musician who gets recruited on board this ship and befriends 1900, because the 1900 of the title is actually Tim Roth's character's name. He's found as a baby by Bill Nunn, who works in the bowels of the ship, and he gives him this long name based on the orange crate he was found in. So he is 1900, and he turns out to be this precocious piano player. Like I said, he never gets off the ship, and you know, his friends try and persuade him to go off the ship, but he never does. There's a fantastic scene later on in the film where Jelly Roll Morton, the greatest jazz pianist, hears that, you know, there's this great pianist on board the ship, so he comes on, and he and 1900 have a piano duel, which is just an absolutely fantastic scene, with a wonderful payoff line. And I'm not going to tell you what happens later on in the film. You'll have to watch it for yourself if you haven't seen it. but it is a masterpiece. This edition is the director's cut. It's an Italian Blu-ray. It is in English. And this is 170 minutes. There is another edition which isn't the director's cut, but try and get the director's cut and try and watch it on the biggest screen possible. I watch my films on a projector on a wall, and this is a film that you really need the biggest screen possible. It is absolutely beautiful. The production design, the sets on board the ship are just beautiful. Like I say, for me, it's Tornatore's best work. I found it more of a connection with it than Cinema Paradiso. Maybe it's just because I'm kind of attracted to strange characters who are loners and don't really kind of get on with people. Initially, you might kind of be surprised with Tim Roth's casting, because he's maybe not the perfect casting in the world, but you really don't care because you're just swept along by Morricone's score. And essentially this is a film about the making of myths. It is, it's not based in reality. It is a fantastical story, but it's just so beautiful and you just get immersed in it. And if I ever do my top 150 films, this is certainly going to be in it. And I would say off the top of my head, it'll certainly be in the top 75 rather than the bottom 75. The first time I saw it, I was just absolutely blown away. It kind of starts in flashback. It's Pruitt Taylor, Vince's character, going to a pawn shop to put his trumpet in, but he just wants to play one last bit of it, and the guy in the shop recognises the music he's playing and puts on this old LP, and Pruitt Taylor Vince is shocked by this because it's the lost recording of 1900. It's the only recording of 1900. And then he starts retelling the tale. It's beautifully framed. The pawn shop owner is actually played by Peter Vaughan, who you'll recognise from lots of British films. It's got characters that you actually care about, characters that you're invested in. It's one of those films, it's 170 minutes, the director's cut, but it absolutely flies by. I guess for some people they might not be, sucked into it, but if you go with it, it is just a sumptuous, beautiful masterpiece, with the backbone of some of Ennio Morricone's greatest compositions. I mean, there's a great scene in the bowels of the ship where 1900 goes with the kind of third class passengers, and there's just a little piano in the corner and they just yell out what kind of stuff they want to hear. So he'll play like a waltz or a tarantella or a tango, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The scenes with a young girl that 1900 is taken with, and then of course he just plays the piano what he's feeling. I mean, it will give you goosebumps, and again, that's the strength of Morricone, because again he just has that note. He just knows what gives you an emotional response, and it's fantastic. I'm not going to give away the ending. That's up to yourselves to watch if you haven't seen it already, but I highly recommend it. I know, obviously, all the kind of films I talk about I would certainly recommend watching, but this one's kind of next level stuff. This is an absolute joy and an absolute treat, and if you go with it, it's just absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much for watching. Leave comments below if you've actually seen Legends of 1900, what you think of it. I would certainly recommend buying the CD soundtrack as well, because like I say, it's fantastic. It's Morricone at his best. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again. This is Tornatore saying farewell.